El movimiento de los estudiantes, they are our future, our next generation, representing our roots, brown pride all the way. Somos la semilla de Aztlán, rising up with a book in our hand. MEChA, building the new dawn. Juntos for the fight, with all of our might. We are the light. We are the light.
Bienvenidos and welcome to Alhambra High School for the 17th Annual Phoenix Union High School District MEChA Conference, Movimiento Estudiantil Chicano de Aztlán. This is Dr. Jose Leibo's La Plática and the Chicano Stories Project, bringing you stories about our community. As many of you may know, MEChA was started right after the Plan de Ayala in the late 60s, and by 1971, it spread to many universities and colleges and high schools throughout the Southwest. MEChA has been a powerful force for education, for community service, and for giving our Chicano students a sense of identity, a place where they can belong. And witness today, so many years later in 2026, just look behind me at all the enthusiasm, the excitement of all these brown Chicano faces. MEChA vive, el movimiento vive, and we're gonna fight against injustices in our community and with our people, but we're gonna do it through education and through community service. So viva la raza, viva MEChA. Stay tuned for many, many other programming today and later on about the MEChA Student Conference here at Phoenix Union. 17 years, Chicanos, 17 years, and many universities and colleges today still have strong and thriving MEChistas. We're having, in fact, a couple of attorneys will be speaking today who are former MEChA presidents at Arizona State University. And for our Chicanos from LA, we have the former MEChA president for Loyola Marymount University will also be speaking. He's currently an immigration attorney here today. So please join us, stay tuned for La Plática and to the Chicano Stories Project. This is Dr. Jose Leiba, former MEChista at Arizona State University, signing off. Muchas gracias y viva la raza.
Si se puede, this is the movimiento. Brown pride, Chicano pride. Si se puede, this is the movimiento.
Hi, I'm Arizona State Senator Annalise Ortiz. I represent the people of the Maryvale community in West Phoenix and South Glendale. I'm so excited to be here for the MEChA conference with young people who are carrying on a legacy of fighting for civil rights and representing our Chicano culture with pride. I am a born and raised Arizonan, a former journalist and a former civil rights activist, and I believe strongly in the power of the people. That's why I ran to represent my community in the Arizona State Legislature, and every day I'm fighting back against attacks on the Latino community because we know that our people are powerful. We bring something special and strong to this country, and we need to stand up and fight for our right to be here, to have housing that we can afford, to have good paying jobs, and to continue to live and thrive with dignity in the United States of America. Thank you for having me.
Bienvenidos and welcome back to La Plática. This is Dr. Jose Leiba with the Chicano Story Project and Latino USA TV. Today we are highlighting the MEChA Conference, Movimiento Estudiantil Chicano de Aztlán, a student organization, an activist student organization that was born out of the Movimiento and the Plan de Aztlán, been around since the late 60s, and today they are having their 17th annual conference here for Phoenix Union High School schools here in Phoenix, Arizona. And we have the faculty sponsor, Ms. Raquel Enrique. She's also a biology faculty here. And so, Raquel, tell us about the purposes and the goals of the MEChA Conference today.
So the theme of the conference is understanding and recognizing the ancestral knowledge that we have and how we can encompass that ancestral knowledge into our future generations. And so one of the ideas, especially with the current political onset that we're facing and a lot of our people are facing, one of the main things that we wanted to make sure of is that our students are aware that they matter, that they recognize that they have community that supports them, not just us as staff members, but a larger community within the higher PXU district. So that's why we also have the other campuses here as well to recognize, although we do this on a yearly basis, the main concept of this year is encouraging our students to have a voice, helping them become aware that they have a community at large that supports them, getting them connected with each other, getting them connected with the greater community, y más que nada ayudarles a encontrar esa voz y ayudarles a encontrar esa persona de quien son ellos and where that comes from the ancestral point, from the indigenous perspective, all the way to the people that we are now in our different communities, in our different settings, be it as a position like yourself, be it as a position with like Senator Annalise Ortiz, who we had with us. So mainly that is finding a way to make sure that they see themselves within the greater community.
So that's how you heard about the goals. Now think about this. I was in MEChA in 1970 in Arizona State University. It's called MASO then. And then spending all that time in MEChA, I got my identity y aprendí mi voz, tener una voz. And I heard many of the speakers today telling the students, use your voice. You know, that is so important. So what you're doing is so important in creating the next generation of Chicano, Mexicano, Latino activists, because we're not all from Mexico anymore. Somos, we're la capirotada of Latino America, but that's our strength. So let's talk a little bit about, you come from a very famous family. Your father, Tupac.
My tío, sorry.
Your tío, I'm sorry. Your tío Tupac started a nonprofit here, Con La Tierra, many years ago. It's still prospering today, helping us rediscover our indigenous roots. And then your other tío.
My tío, yeah.
Ramon Chunky Sanchez, you know, the famous author of Chicano Park. So tell, how did that impact your life as an activist?
So, well, it is funny you say that when you mentioned it as introducing them as my father, because they were father figures to me. My father passed away when I was young, and so moving up here to Califas at a very young age, I think I was maybe 8 years old when I first came up to the States, and we grew up in California. And we lived with my tío Chunky and my tía Isabel, and it wasn't really a choice that we had. It was more just embedded within our day in and day out of the movimiento, entendiendo lo que significa ser parte del movimiento chicano, chicana, and understanding where our roots come from and understanding who we are as indigenous peoples. And so when I moved out here to Arizona, I already had that awareness, and then of course with my family as well, that one of the things that no matter what happens on a political standpoint, no matter what happens within these systems of oppression, that's knowing myself as an indigenous person and knowing who I am and knowing where my roots come from and understanding that has grounded me to be able to keep moving forward and has allowed me to bypass any oppressive state of minds that might come our way. So it's played a big impact having them both in my life. It's something that I tell these students often. Growing up, we didn't have a choice of, do you want to join a marcha? It's more of, esta marcha va a pasar en este día, este tiempo, let's go, vámonos.
Vámonos.
Yeah, y así era.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, great. So here you have heard from Raquel Enrique, the faculty sponsor, of the MEChA Conference and the organizer of today's event, despite having a full-time teaching load. And if you ever get to Chicano Park, go visit something that her tío helped start. Look up Los Alacranes Mojados and you'll see the Chicano Park song and many other great songs that they compose about el movimiento y la lucha, porque todavía sigue la lucha, raza. We haven't given up. There's 200 youth there celebrating the goals of MEChA, the community service, and fighting the injustices that are going on. So we have survived colonization by relying on our indigenous roots. I talk to my Tata Iñaki all the time, and he gives me that strength to go to the next meeting and to speak up, to find your voice. So Chicanos, Latinos, Mexicanos, whoever you are out there, find your voice. Right now, we need you to speak up for our community. This is Dr. Jose Leiva, Arizona Barrio Stories, and the Chicano Story Project. So visit us, help us grow, and help us keep the message. Muchas gracias, y hasta pronto, y viva la raza.